Yo, what's up, guys? We're here with Liam Bradshaw. He is an entrepreneur from Cape Town. He does e-com, and he's currently running it up, making money that a lot of us don't even make when we're 50. So I thought I would get him on the podcast, see what he's about, and see if there's something that you guys can learn from this. So what's up, Liam? How you doing, bro?
What's up, brother? Doing very well. Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, sir. Why don't you introduce yourself, say what you do, and yeah.
For sure. Well, I appreciate that very nice intro that you gave me. Obviously making some solid money. Very grateful for the money that I'm making. But yeah, my name is Liam. As Daniel mentioned, I was born and raised here in Cape Town, South Africa. Currently do e-commerce. I have a portfolio of 2 e-commerce brands. So at the moment, that's my day-to-day work. Just working to scale it up as much as I can. Obviously maintain the profitability, maintain the longevity of that. Been doing that full-time now for about, my math is pretty bad, but probably since last year, October. So how many months is that? Like October, November, December.
8-9 months?
8-9 months around there. I've been doing it full-time. Did a few things before that, but this is what I've found has worked best for me and what I enjoy the most. So yeah, over the past couple of months, just been giving this my all, and it's been going pretty well. Can't complain. Just getting started though.
Solid. I remember seeing on your socials that one of your stores got shut down. Is that right? What happened there?
Unfortunately. Yeah, bro. So unfortunately, I don't have the best reputation with Shopify at the moment, just in terms of the payment processes. So it can happen at any time. Shopify can put a hold on your account. Most common reason is if you're getting a lot of chargebacks, a lot of refunds, a lot of customer complaints. And in the beginning, I was getting a lot of those, when I was just learning the routes and everything. My back end wasn't as dialed in as it should have been. And unfortunately got payment reserves. So just started a new account. Unfortunately got a payment reserve on that. Started a new account, got a payment reserve on that. It was all just connected to one LLC. So, obviously Shopify does frequent reviews on accounts, and they just noticed that everything was connected. So yeah, one of my stores just got permanently terminated. They didn't actually give me a reason for that, but I'm assuming it would probably be because of the payment reserves and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I have a client who also got their Shopify shut down for no reason. Is that a common thing that just happens?
I think it's starting to be more common. Shopify is really just coming down on people, especially that are running their businesses through entities where they don't have residencies in that country. So for example, I run everything through my US LLC, but I'm not a resident of the United States. So Shopify and Stripe, they're both the same company. They've both been coming down on people that are running with that setup recently for some reason. Okay. Obviously to protect themselves, keep a good reputation with the banks as well. If they're processing such large amounts of volume, then of course they want to keep a clean record there. A lot of people say it's for tax reasons as well. I don't really know the specifics of why that is, but of course, if they put a payment reserve on your account or if they terminate your account, they can basically hold a bunch of money. So a lot of people say that not for tax. I think it's just because every time at a specific part of the year, they need to share their public statements, because they're a public company. And I think just in terms of their shares and their shareholders and stuff like that, they wanted to make it look like they have more money than they do actually have, right? So for example, they're holding a bunch of my money now. And
really?
Obviously, if they're doing that to a bunch of different merchants, it makes them look like they have more money as a company. They are valued higher on the market.
That's insane. So how long does it take normally to get the money back?
It's usually about 120 days. Oh, I'm working with lawyers at the moment because I've got quite a large amount of money being held, again, for no reason. Like I said, I had a few issues in the beginning with some of my first stores, but ever since then it's been clean, right? So yeah, they're just holding a bunch of my money, but I'm working with lawyers to hopefully get that 120-day period reduced. But it is what it is. So
for the 50K store, the store you had before, did they give you a proper reason for taking it down, or did they just kind of waffle a bit?
They didn't give me any reason, bro.
That is so fucked up.
They gave me no reason whatsoever.
Damn. Yeah, I guess that's the one problem with e-com. It's a lot less predictable, right? Your store can just get shut down. Yeah. Something can go wrong. Whereas other business models, I guess, is a bit more safety. Would you say that's true?
For sure, it's a bit volatile, but it's because there's so many moving parts, You're relying on your payment processor, you're relying on your ad account to stay up and running pretty much. That can get shut down at any time. There's so many things that are out of your hand, especially if you're drop shipping as well. You're relying on your suppliers to continue to ship out high quality goods. And you're not there physically seeing the product, touching it. Yeah. So it's all about having good communication with your supplier on that end. but the ad account can get shut down at any point in time. The payment processor could put a hole in your account at any time, completely block you at any time. So there's a lot of things that can go wrong for sure.
Yeah, I think one of the things I want to make sure people understand is that there's a difference between what you're doing, which is international. You're selling, you're not selling on take. A lot of people, when they hear drop shipping, what they see guys in South Africa, it's like selling products that they're selling in rands, selling to South Africans. You're not doing that, and that's why you're able to make these big numbers.
Yeah. I don't sell at all to South Africa. A lot of people will recommend drop shipping to South Africa, but I don't personally recommend that whatsoever, especially if you are getting your goods out of China, right? Because chances are it's not even going to arrive here, or it's going to take like a month to arrive, or it's going to get stuck at customs. So yeah, I personally don't do it that way. I used to do it that way.
And you made a lot less money back then.
I made a lot less money, and also I ran into a lot more refunds and stuff like that, bro. And I'm not trying to be a scammer, so I always refund my customers. I always keep them happy. But most of the time, if you're drop shipping directly from China to customers here in South Africa, they're not going to get the product, bro. And then if you're not doing anything about that, you're essentially just scamming them.
Yeah, insane. I think that's the same with a lot of business models, just working. If you're trying to sell to South Africans, it just doesn't work a lot of the time. Number one, people don't have money. And number two, it's just a lot harder to fulfill for them here. It's even agency services. I tell people hit me up yo, I want to start an agency. I'm like, bro, do not sell to South Africans. They're like, no, I want to help this business down the road. I'm like, bro, they don't have budgets.
Exactly,
so it's it's the same with dropshipping. If you want to make real money in South Africa, you need to sell overseas.
The purchasing power is a lot less, of course. I mean, the most I ever ran up a dropshipping store in South Africa was up to around about 160,000 Rand. And even then, my margins were pretty slim. I probably made 40, 50, 60,000 Rand profit that month. And don't get me wrong, that's good money. I felt extremely rich. I felt extremely abundant when that happened. But in order to take it to the next level and have an actual business where, you got good shipping times, you're providing a good customer experience, you gotta take it to the international markets.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I saw something, your margins are quite high at the moment, because I think I saw something like 40%. Is that true? Yeah,
at the moment we're hovering around 40% margins.
Okay, that's not normal though, right? Or is it?
Well, obviously it's higher than the average person would be. I think anywhere above 30% is pretty good. Anywhere, of course, bro, even if your margins are 10% and you're doing $1 million a month, you're still making $100,000 a month,
Yeah.
So depends what volume you're doing, right? But overall, in order to scale sustainably, you kind of want your margins to be above 30%. So mine are sitting around 40% right now, which is pretty good. It's pretty high. But there's reasons why it is that high. Of course, my ROAS is amazing. If you guys follow me on Twitter, I don't know if anyone watching this does, but you'll see my ROAS is good. It's 5, 6, 7 sometimes. That's because I've got good creatives. I've got a good relationship with my suppliers, so they're giving me cheap cost of goods. That increases my gross profit margin, of course. So yeah, there's a bunch of different aspects that go into it. My AOV is high. I've got upsells on the back end. I've got email marketing, so I'm making sure that people are buying, that have already bought a product, they'll buy again through the email marketing. So yeah, there's reasons why it's so high.
Solid. Yeah, I mean, people look at dropshipping and think it's quick cash, but you've been doing this for, let's say, 8 months, and the amount of work you probably put in, none of this shit is easy. There's so much shit on the back end that you don't see when people make the little Instagram post, dropshipping did this for me.
Yeah.
It's there is no easy business models. I wanted to ask you, therefore, before you were doing dropshipping, what were you doing? How did you get into online business?
Yo, the story can go back pretty far, bro. How far do we want to go back? To the beginning? Because I believe that, everything that I'm doing now, and the reason why I'm able to do e-commerce and, be pretty consistent with it is because I have an accumulation of a lot of skills that I've gained over time. So if you want to get into it,
let's say the thing you did before dropshipping.
Just before
e-com. Yeah.
Okay, I'll name 2 things that I did before. So real quick, I started dabbling in e-commerce itself probably around 2021. Had a store do probably 20,000 Rand in profit in 2021. I was in grade 11 then. Felt super rich overall. So I started to fizzle out of that, got lazy, fell into bad habits, whatever. But I always had some level of drive for money. So there was a stage where I was also running a creative agency, and that's where I was kind of making some cash, just filming videos, music videos, commercials for brands, etc. And then in 2022, matric, I started getting into e-commerce again, ran up a few stores here and there. Did that 160,000 Rand in 1 month store in November of 2022, like during my matric exams. After that, I decided, okay, I'm going to start a SMMA. So I tried to start a social media marketing agency. Like that. This is like the average timeline of someone you know, trying to make money online, bro. Didn't see any success with that, unfortunately. Would hop on cold calls, do like 100, 200 cold calls every single day for 3-4 months.
What were you offering? Like, what was the main thing of the offer?
Yeah, so it was lead generation and appointment setting for home automation businesses in the United States.
Okay.
So yeah, just grinding cold calls, bro, for 3-4 months straight. I even hired someone to do cold calls for me. Didn't sign a single client, unfortunately. And then an opportunity came up for me to get into high ticket sales. So I got into high ticket sales. I was hopping on calls, closing deals for a coaching company, and got pretty good at sales through that, bro. Kind of bullshitted my way into that role. You know, said that I had been closing deals for my agency for 3-4 months.
Meanwhile, you had zero clients.
I had no clients. But yeah, so I was forced to get good at sales through that. And I think a combination of getting good at sales and obviously knowing how to edit videos enabled me to be able to create amazing ads and also get good at marketing, you know?
Yeah.
I think if you're good at selling, you can kind of translate that into being good at copywriting. You know, if you're good at editing, then you can position a video in a way in which, you know, you're tapping into people's pain, you're amplifying it, you're presenting your product as a solution. And yeah, I think those two skills specifically enabled me to make good ads, put a good website together because I knew what to do with the content side of things. And yeah, those are the two skills I would say.
Yeah, I mean, it's very clear that you've skill stacked a lot of things over the years. Like, it's not just ecom. It's like, no, everything you learn from SMMA, you take into the next venture. So I think that's a big thing. Like, you can't just know how to do one thing. Like, people will say, let's say ecom, what's the one skill that you think people should know?
Yeah, there's no skill, bro.
There is no
I think you
skill.
have to kind of be a jack of all trades with ecom specifically. And
yeah, I mean, it's the same with agency, bro. Like, you have to know copywriting. You have to know how to sell because you need to close your clients.
Yeah.
And then you need to know how to fulfill, which for me will be like editing or scripting, whatever. So, like, no matter what you do, you have to be constantly picking up new skills.
Of course.
So, yeah, that's one of the things people need to realize. So, did you go to university or not?
Yeah, so I didn't go to university. My parents both in general wanted me to go and study marketing, actually.
Oh, shit.
Funny enough, yeah. You know, they were very big on the whole get a piece of paper behind your name, play the safe route. And yeah, I mean, through a lot of just back and forth, some arguments, I managed to get myself out of that situation. I always knew that I didn't want to go to uni, bro. Like, I knew that if I went to uni, it would have been a mistake. You know, I wouldn't have put in the effort. It would have kind of been just me trying to get it done, you know. I probably would have paid someone to do it for me, to be honest. Like,
outsourcing, bro.
I would have outsourced it, bro, and it would have been a complete waste of money for my parents. You know, I don't come from money either, so throughout my whole life, my parents always put a little bit of money away for me to go to uni, and they always said, like, you know, we don't have much money, but we do have money for you to go study. You know, they always made that a priority to make sure that I could go and get a further education. But yeah, I just decided it wasn't for me, and I didn't want them to spend that money when I knew it wasn't for me, you know. It would have been disingenuous.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, because you've had success, they understand, and now they're like...
Now they understand.
Now they understand.
Then I'd had, you know, a few successes here and there. So I think, like I said, I had that one store that did 160,000 Rand in 1 month during exams. Bro, I fucking crushed those exams as well somehow. I don't know if it's just because I was in good energy, because I felt like I was making all this money. In hindsight, it's not even a lot of money. But then I felt so rich, bro. Like, I felt so abundant. I bought a watch. I bought a phone. I was buying all of this stuff. Quickly lost all of that money. But it gave my parents, you know, proof of concept. And I've always, like, believed in myself too, you know. So I think they could kind of just see that through me.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, yeah, you've definitely proved to them that you can do your own thing and you don't need a piece of paper. I mean, a lot of people are in the exact same situation, right?
Yeah.
Their parents are forcing them to go uni, but they want to do this online stuff. The only way to prove to them is to actually start winning.
Exactly.
Start making the shit work.
I think a lot of people are in a weird mindset, bro. You know, they almost feel like they have won already just because they've been consuming all of this content of other people winning, of other people showing them that it's possible. But truth is, they're still sitting in their room. They're still living under their parents' roof. They don't even have $1,000 to their name. You know, they've got nothing. They've done nothing. All that they've done is convince themselves that they have done stuff by watching all of these videos. you know? And people need to understand that these videos are marketed to make it seem easy because people want to funnel you into their course. And how do they do that? Firstly, they break the resistance. They make you believe that you can do it, because then you're likely to go and get the money so that you can invest in their program and do it for yourself, you know? But I think it's actually a very bad thing, bro. I think a lot of people aren't cut out for this life. And I honestly think that this whole internet money thing is going to make a lot of people homeless, bro. Because a lot of people are going to believe that they can do it. They're going to fight with their parents. They're not going to go to university. They're not going to get a normal job. And they're just going to sit around trying to run up a marketing agency for years on end and potentially not get any clients, bro. And then they're going to be fucked in a couple of years. I don't know if that's a negative mindset to have, but I genuinely don't think that this is for everyone, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy. You have to do a lot of implementation, right? And you have to do the implementation of the right things. So when it comes to, as you said, a marketing agency, you have to be doing outreach every day.
Yeah.
You have to be doing content every day. Like all the things that are going to get you clients, you have to do that. It's the same with ecom. If you fuck around and you're just watching videos, you're learning, but you're not actually implementing the right things, it's not going to work. It's like, of course not. So yes, there are going to be people that fail, but of course, you know, we see on Instagram the people that are doing well. We see people like you that are doing well. So it all depends on if you actually get the shit done. So let's not say that no one's going to do it, but if you're the type of person who's not going to do the work, then of course, if you tell your parents you're going to drop out, you sit around doing fuck all for months. I know people like that who said they wanted to do an agency, then did nothing for 3 months after dropping out. Like if that's you, then sure, that's on you. But if you're actually willing to put in the work, it does work. Ecom works, agency works, it all works.
Of course.
Yeah, 100%. So let's go back to the money that you're making. Okay. What's it been like making this money at a young age, especially when there are so few people around you doing it?
Yeah, it's interesting, man. Of course, in the beginning, you know, it was amazing, but I very quickly realized that, you know, the money that you're making, it can come, it can go. It can go just as fast as it can come. You know, it can take very long to come. It can take very long to go. But what I'm saying with this is that it's a fluctuating resource. You know, it can go up, it can go down. And you can't really attach your identity to money, you know. I actually found, like, as soon as I started making some of the most money I've ever made in my life, you know, I felt empty, you know, because that's not what's going to give you fulfillment. You know, at the end of the day, those are just numbers on a screen. And us as humans, our natural tendency is to get used to things extremely quickly. You know, you got an old iPhone, you really want a new iPhone, you save up money, you buy a new iPhone. It's amazing for a week, and then you're completely used to it, bro.
That's true.
That's just an example, and that can be applied to absolutely everything. You know, all you want is to live in a nice apartment, stay in a nice apartment. You get there, and then you get used to it. You know, so it's all about being grateful for what you have, and I'm extremely grateful now. But also, I'm only touching the surface of what I truly want. You know, my big goals. So, yeah, I don't let it get to my head in any way. Like I was saying earlier, like I've always believed in myself, so it doesn't feel like it's foreign to me. You know, I always knew intrinsically that I would be in this position. So, yeah, I mean, I know that we're just getting started.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, as you're saying, you kind of have to have a vision in everything you're doing. So if you just want to get the apartment and then you just want to live comfortably, you're probably not going to be fulfilled because you have nothing further to push for.
Yeah.
So it's all about living with some sort of goal. So when it comes to business, once you get into it, you're never comfortable. Like there are guys who will be making $150,000 a month and they still want more. Like that's just how it is once you get into entrepreneurship. And that's what keeps you going, actually.
Of course.
Or people see it as greed, but it's like, no, you just want to keep going, keep pushing and, you know, live a better life. Because ultimately, yes, it's not all about money, but money is something that you can put on a scale and actually set as a goal. You can say, I want to make $200,000 this month. You can't say, I want to be happy like that. It's just hard to achieve that. So yeah, that's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, man. I think obviously at the end of the day, it all boils down to who you are as a person. You know, are you worthy of making that $200,000 a month? Or have you become that person? And that's more of the pursuit, you know. The money is a byproduct. For me, it's just reaching the highest potential version of myself. And also, I've dabbled with this idea, you know, like, should I be happy with what I have? You know, I have everything that I need. Yes, I'm grateful for it, okay? But that constant hunger for more and that constant want for more, some people will call it greed, some people will call it desire, whatever it may be, that's what's going to truly get you extremely far in a short period of time. You know, if you just keep going, and you never get comfortable, in a couple of years, you're going to look around and be like, oh shit, how did I get here? You know?
Yeah.
It's like almost you'll arrive somewhere and you'll be like, damn, you know, that actually just happened, you know? Whereas if you get to 10K a month, you kind of cruise, you chill around there, you know, maybe then you're up it to 15 in a while. It's like you've kind of seen the progression more, if that makes sense. Whereas if you've just constantly wanted more and more and more, I think you'll get very far very, very quickly and at a very young age.
100%. I feel like it's also about who you're around, right? So if you're the richest person in your town, in your area, you're the one who's balling, your goals are not going to be as big. Whereas if you're on money Twitter, you're seeing guys making infinitely more money. You're seeing, you know, people like you doing way bigger numbers. It's going to push you more. You want to be at that level that the people around you are. So that's a big thing. Like just networking and being with people who are successful is going to push you way more.
It's a game changer, bro. It's
a
game changer.
100%. So in terms of how you've got to this point, what would you say the main things? Do you think it's like daily habits or just straight discipline? What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I mean, if we go back to what I just kind of said now, that's probably what's helped me to continue pushing, you know, it's just the constant want for more. Because also when you achieve a goal, you obviously learn things along that process to get to that goal, right? Then if you want to take it to the next level, all that you have to do is kind of just take what you learned, maybe learn a few more things and just compound on top of that, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know, I definitely can't attribute it to one thing to get to my point, but if I had to sum it up to a few things, I'd probably just say, you know, consistency. Like ever since I was in high school, I've just had it on my mind that I need to be working, and I've shown up every single day since then. You know, there's not been one day, maybe there's been 1 or 2 days where I've chilled, but most of the time it's strategically. You know, if I'm chilling, it's like, okay, I need to reset. You know, I need to clear my mind. I need to cleanse my soul, whatever it may be, so that I can come back harder. So I really just think it's consistency. You know. Just chipping away at that mountain every single day.
In terms of what you do, e-com, would you recommend it to people, or do you think it's something that requires a lot of skills?
I would recommend it to everyone, bro. I think everyone should at least try it, but I wouldn't, if you don't have money to like kind of throw at it, I wouldn't, you know. I usually recommend having like at least $1,000 to get started. There might be someone else that recommends something different, but you know, $1,000 will kind of give you enough capital to work with to test, you know, 8-9 products maybe, and then you can kind of, you know, dedicate yourself to it, go all in, test 8-9 products, and after that, if you haven't found, you know, something that works, then you're probably doing something wrong. But if you're doing the right things, you're following the right strategies, after 8-9 products that you've tested, you should find something that works for you and that you can scale up.
Yeah, because I know I follow a couple people who do like organic drop shipping, and that's obviously different. That's when they run up an Instagram page and then sell it from there. So I mean, with what you're doing, obviously you need money to spend on ads, right? So people need to learn that skill of actually being able to, as you said, make good creatives and be able to actually scale them properly. But that's the one thing with e-commerce, requires upfront capital. Yeah. So people need to almost be making some money beforehand before they get into it. Like if you're broke, you can't really start e-com. No. Am I right on that?
I personally don't think that you should. You know, maybe you can test 1-2 products, but then what? You're sitting with no money left. Yeah. You haven't made any money, and now you got to like get back to the graph to somehow make money again. So I think it's best to have cash flow. Get started with e-com, funnel the cash flow that you have from your normal job or whatever job it may be into testing products. And then once you've got some consistent cash flow from e-com, then look at maybe quitting your job, you know. But you can lose money very quick. You know, you could run up a store, get hit with 100% payment hold, like I said. You never know, bro. So yeah, I think by all means take risks, but do something else first, provide some value to the world, get some money in the door, then take that capital and invest it into e-com, which is obviously more scalable.
100%.
Like that's exactly what I did, bro. You know, I obviously knew the potential of e-com because I'd done it in high school and I'd made some money here and there. But then I got into sales and I was earning money consistently. You know, I was doing something that was providing value to the world. I was selling a coaching offer. That was actually a fitness coaching offer. So
who was the coach, by the way?
His name was Fritz Horstmann. It was a vegan coaching offer, actually.
He's from US, right?
He's from Switzerland.
Okay, I know Log Fritz as a guy on Twitter. Okay, it's not him.
Oh, no. So yeah, a company from Switzerland, was working for them. And I was actively seeing the impact that it was having, you know, because obviously people were doing the coaching. losing weight and stuff like that. And I was getting paid to get them into the program. Took that money, took that capital once I had, $10,000 or so. I was like, okay, I got some money saved up from this. Let me now get into ecom. And then I know that I have the money to go all in and I can make it work without giving up, And I ran pretty low, bro. Like I spent a lot of money before I ever had any success. And I have the skills,
Yeah.
Of course, I'm like, if I look back at what I was doing then, I'm definitely much more experienced now. But I would have said like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Maybe I didn't know what I was doing at all, but
it's always like that.
Yeah.
You always think you know.
You always think you know what you're doing.
And then 10 months later, you're like, what the fuck was I doing back then?
The potential with online business is way higher than if you're going to go the traditional route. And you can get rich quick than in traditional business, if you told someone 10, 15, 20 years ago that they could, just dedicate 6 months to building an online business and be making, anywhere from $10,000 to $100,000 a month, they would have thought that you were lying, because, the time frame back then was so much longer. People would go unprofitable for years on end with like a brick and mortar business to then become profitable, 5-10 years later. So of course it is getting rich quick, right? But it's not as quick as people kind of make it out to be. It's not like a week or like a few days of like clicking buttons on a computer.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people just quit early, bro. Like there's so many people who will tell me they're getting into it, and then they just stopped. Like why? If you just stuck with something for 6 months, you're probably going to see a bit of success. You might not become rich, but you're going to get to like 5K, 10K, whatever it may be. It's literally just finding whatever your model is, whether it be ecom, agency, and just sticking to it for at least 6 months. And you're probably going to see results.
Of course, bro. It's the basic premise of if it's worked for someone else, there's no reason why it won't work for you. Yes, their situation might be different. They might have more capital. They might have access to Stripe when you don't have access to Stripe, payment processor, whatever it may be. But all of these problems, there's solutions to the problems. So yes, it might take you a bit longer than someone else. Everyone's timeline is different. Let's say I'm doing cold calls. Maybe I just happened to call someone who was in a good mood that day and they signed as a client on my third cold call. Oh, I signed a client on my first day. Was I lucky? Yes, maybe I was lucky, but that doesn't mean, basically what I'm saying is that, that could happen to anyone, So, but that might happen, 3 months down the line. So I'm just saying everyone's timeline is different, especially with online business where there's so many nuances and stuff like that, bro. It's like everyone's timeline is different. You can't compare yourself. You just have to pick one thing and stick with it.
100%. To people wanting to get into ecom, what would be like your number one piece of advice to them?
Yeah, so honestly, just persistence. Like, it works, There's no doubt about that. So it's just about showing up every day, putting in the work day in, day out, and eventually things will click. Bro, that's literally, it sounds cliche, but that's literally what I did, okay? I was just consistent, and now I do it full time. I quit my job, I quit my sales job, said, okay, I'm gonna go all in with ecom. For a month, I worked day in, day out, 9 a.m. to 11, 12 a.m. sometimes. I was just working. I was losing money. My bank account was going down and down and down, but I was delusional and I was consistent and persistent, right? I could have tested 3-4 products and been like, nah, I'm losing money, I'm quitting. But no, I was delusional. I was like, no, I'm going to make this work.
You have to be delusional.
I decided, bro. I decided I'm going to do it and I went all in, And it's just making that decision and then being persistent, because without making the decision, without committing yourself to it, then you're kind of waffling around, it might work. I might do ecom. If you might do something, you're going to end up doing nothing, bro.
Facts.
You have to decide what you're going to do and make it happen,
Yeah, I mean, just the ability to figure the shit out, right? Like in ecom, a lot of shit will pop up. As you said, the payment processor will do shit. Then you have to spend a day trying to figure it out. There's so many fires that you have to put out in every business, right? And it's just being able to go like, fuck, okay, now I have to go figure this out. And then actually figuring it out.
I used to be like that. Well, I haven't even explained what I used to be like. But yeah, I used to run into problems, mainly when I was doing ecom in high school. I'd run into a problem and be like, yeah, okay, no, I can't do this. Like I would just like stop then. Just like business isn't about just making money. It's about solving problems, It's about showing up every day, going through the good, going through the bad, going through the ups and the downs. It's about the whole process of it,
6 months, like
to get to like this.
Like a bit longer, yeah. I think I just have
I got very fast haircut,
Yeah, yeah.
bro. I get a haircut every 3 days.
Damn.
It's annoying.
Have you paid for any mentorship? I'm curious.
Yeah, I actually have. So when I quit my sales job, I invested into someone's mentorship. It's basically like a small group, a little mastermind. And yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't learn too much that I didn't already know from the mentorship specifically. But one thing that the mentorship did for me was it kept me accountable, you know. I invested money. I think it was around £1,500. So maybe 36,000 rand, I think it was. So yeah, I was like, I put money in, so I wasn't gonna let that go to waste, you know. So that kind of just motivated me to make it work, make that money back, and yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing, and we spoke about it with Aslam on the previous podcast. Mentorships do work, courses do work if you're buying from someone who actually knows what they're doing and they're actually going to help you. Like, there's an agency program that goes for $10,000. Now, when people see that, they're like, what the fuck, $10,000? But if that's going to speed up your process and hold you accountable and actually make you do the work, and you know that the model that you're in is going to get you, more than $10,000 a month, it does make sense. So I'm not sure about e-com. I don't know how many good courses or programs there are, but in general, courses are probably a good thing. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they're definitely a net positive. I just think that people need to be very selective with who that they
100%.
are buying the course from, At the end of the day, selling a course is a business model, so there's many people that are going to capitalize off of that business model, regardless of if they have success in what they're trying to teach anyway. That's just the way that it is. That's the way that it's probably always going to be. At the end of the day, you just have to do your research, make sure that you trust the person, and I guess, just weigh up, why they're selling a course, how they're presenting their lifestyle. Yeah, just you just need to be careful. I think a lot of the time, bro, like, you can probably buy a course, and especially if it's kind of cheap as well, might be a bit of a waste of money. But generally, if it's more expensive, if you're getting personalized guidance, I think it can be very useful. Like I said, I bought the course and now I do e-com full time. So it wasn't a course, it was a mastermind. So yeah, I mean, that's an example of it working for me,
Yeah, I mean, look, if I wanted to get into e-com, I'm not going to sit and go through 1,000 YouTube videos. To be honest, I'm going to go pay someone like you.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't offer it, but I'll find someone who knows what they're doing. And if they offer a course, I'll buy it. Because if you can learn something in a week that's going to take 3 months, okay, you pay a bit of money, but you're paying for your time back, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's definitely worth it if you have a bit of money to invest, but you got to make sure
the thing is
the right person.
If you are completely sure that you want to do a certain business model, that you want to make something work, you're either going to pay for that knowledge with money, or you're going to pay for it with time. You're either going to pay the money, get the knowledge up front, and have a foolproof plan to follow, or you're going to pay for it with your time, trying and failing and learning through experience, which is valuable too, but it's going to take you more time.
Yeah.
So you're paying with your time.
No, 100%. Let's go back to the money thing and how much you've been making. I want to ask, what's been the biggest benefit of being able to be financially free? Living in Cape Town is obviously a beautiful city.
Yeah.
What has that experience been like?
Yeah, for sure, man. So I think biggest benefit in terms of business is obviously just being able to stay in nice locations. I spend quite a lot of money on my accommodation that I'm staying in, wherever it may be in the world. And that's because I like to be inspired, If you're getting yourself into an abundant location, at the end of the day, that's going to become an experience for you, and what you experience becomes your identity. What your identity is creates more experience, right? So if I'm constantly in places that are lavish, that are exude abundance, that's only going to reaffirm to myself that I'm abundant. I'm going to feel inspired. I'm going to feel like I want more of this. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to continue to work harder, and in a way attracted to myself too, So definitely just being able to stay in good locations, if you've grown up with money and you have a nice house to stay in, it might not resonate as much. But for me, my family lives in quite a small house, not tiny. I'm very grateful for the house that I had, but a bit on top of each other, and I'm a bit more introverted in that sense. I like my own space. Also just being able to do simple things like buy my family presents for their birthdays and Christmas, which I wasn't able to do before. Small little things like that. Travel the world. being able to actually leave this country, see what else there is out there. Those are some of the best things I would say. And yeah, bro, also just kind of, if I want to buy something, I can buy something. I can't just buy a house, of course, but I see a nice piece of clothing that I like, I can buy that. I can treat my friends to dinner, no problem. So yeah, just the small things like that, I would say.
100%. I mean, bro, Cape Town's one of the best cities for that, because obviously when you're making dollars like we do,
Yeah.
even like a small amount is a lot, right? So
Of course, yeah.
$10,000 a month, if you're making that in South Africa, bro, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
What's the
Take you
average
very
income
far.
here? Like 20
Like,
grand?
yeah, like 20 to 30,000
grand,
rand.
yeah.
$1,000 to $1,500, I would say.
Yeah, so just a lifestyle you can live here compared to if you're living in New York City. Like, it's sure you get a better location there. Not actually, because Cape Town's amazing, but it's just things aren't as expensive here. So I mean,
No.
you're benefiting from that a lot.
100%.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, bro, like the dollar will go way further here than the rand will, and obviously that's because this city is built around people's purchasing power being in rands. So if you're making money online, you're earning dollars, you can live a great life out here for sure.
Yeah, and it's not like you don't need a huge amount. Like
No.
100,000 rand will get you a long, long way in Cape Town. You're
Yeah.
making 100,000 rand a month. And in America, that's nothing. You're broke.
Nothing at all,
I had a friend who posted a screenshot. When you make your first money online, he posted like a Stripe screenshot of 5K USD, like to flex. And he got drilled in the comments saying, you're broke, you're broke, you're broke, from Americans. And then everyone around him in Joburg was like, bro, you're the baller, you're rich. Like,
Yeah, bro,
it's
but
crazy
I
how
mean,
it works.
Yeah, I think also people's perception online is a bit twisted, Like $5,000, still above minimum wage in the United
course.
States, I mean, you can work at McDonald's and earn like $2,000-3,000, whatever it may be. I got friends that are working as waiters making like $2,500, and I mean, you can still get an apartment, you can still get groceries, whatever it may be. So if you're making 5,000, double that completely online, you have the benefits of being able to work remotely. It's still good money,
Yeah.
I think people's perceptions are a bit skewed there.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously because of social media. Everyone's posting their, how I made this, how I made that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, the average person's still making a lot less than anything online money's going to make. So you may look around and see people making, 50K USD, 100K USD, or even 5K USD, as you're saying, is a lot of money. So yeah, you just need to look around you and not only online. Because online, everything's a bit, it's not the same.
Yeah, of course, bro. But yeah, the thing is also like, once you start making, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, you're obviously going to start matching your lifestyle to that income, right? And you don't want to downgrade from there. So once you get to that level, there's immense pressure on you to kind of uphold that level as well. Because if you start, spending less money, obviously it's good to have good money management.
Yeah.
But if you start, having to downgrade the places you're staying in, get more tight on your cash, you're going to feel like, what's happening? Like, my business, is it failing? Like, what's going on, So, yeah.
I wanted to ask you, we've obviously talked about a lot of money stuff, but let's put money aside. What else would you say is a success that you want to achieve, let's say, in the next 5 years?
Yeah, one thing that I would definitely like to achieve is, this is something that has definitely improved over the past couple of years. And I think it's a never-ending journey, but I guess just feeling 100% in alignment with my purpose, 100% feeling like I 100% know what my purpose is, and I can wake up every single day and work towards that, Like, I think I posted something on my Instagram story yesterday, I think it was, and I said, pursuit without passion is one of empty efforts. If you're pursuing money, if you're pursuing certain things, but you have no passion behind it, it's going to feel empty, and I find myself sometimes falling into that too. It's like, I have my businesses up and running, I have the cash flow coming in, but I'm still in the mindset of I have to be working 24/7. And sometimes I'll sit down and I'll be like, I actually don't have work to do, but I'm still pursuing. So I'm like trying to find something to do, but there's no passion behind it.
Yeah.
And that can feel extremely empty sometimes.
Last thing I want to ask you is, if there was one thing you had to change about how, let's say, you got into online business, going back, what's one thing you'd kind of tell your younger self to do differently? Let's say someone who's starting out in business now.
I wouldn't tell them to do anything differently, bro. because one little change could have changed the trajectory of everything, you know. And you know, I have no regrets. So we're on the path now. But I guess maybe that's not the answer that you were looking for.
No,
you know?
I mean, bro, it is what it is. Like,
yeah,
even going to university, I don't regret it.
Yeah.
Because it got me into online business. Then I dropped it. Like, everything leads you to where you are now. So if you've had a bit of success,
one little thing can change the trajectory of everything, bro.
Yeah.
You could have stayed in university for one more day, met some girl, fallen in love. Maybe she was some Russian beautiful girl. She took you to Russia, and then you've, I don't know, enrolled in the war.
Sure.
Anything could have been differently.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that, like, I don't think people should have any regrets, because at the end of the day, everything will work out. Maybe it's one thing that I would have told myself is just have 100% conviction that what you want to achieve is going to happen. Mm-hmm. Because then it doesn't matter what happens on a day-to-day basis.
As long as you know that in the end, it's
because you know that it's going to happen, bro.
Yeah.
It's when you focus on the big things, when you focus on the bigger picture, that's when the small little things don't stress you out in the slightest. Because you have confidence that it's all just part of the journey, you know? It's like, I'm so sure in where I'm going to be in my life that I can check my phone now. Maybe my ad account got banned. I don't think it has gotten banned now, but let's say my ad account got banned. It's not going to stress me out. I'll be like, it's fine. I know I'm going to get it fixed. I know I'm going to build a massive brand. I know I'm going to exit for hundreds of millions. Why would it getting banned now stress me out at all? I'll just fix it and then keep moving on.
Yeah, and I mean, that confidence only comes once you've had a bit of success. That's the issue. Like, when you're starting out, you probably don't have that confidence because you don't know what you're capable of and you don't know if you're actually going to get the end result, right?
Yeah.
But once you've had a bit of success, you have confidence in yourself, you have confidence in your business model, then you know.
But I think people assign success to how much money you're making, where it's not about that, because once you start making money, you're always going to feel like you need to make more money anyway. So when do you think, okay, I'm successful, now I believe that I'm going to achieve it? No, it's not like that. It's about becoming the person who's worthy of that. If you know that you're showing up and you're working every day, you're going to the gym, you're working on your mindset, you know, you're instilling all of the habits that you need to instill in order to make that reality a reality, then it's not about, you know, if you've made money or not. It's just about, are you acting in the way that's going to take you there? And 100%. That can happen in 1-2 days, you know? But of course, having a consistent track record is obviously going to build up confidence with yourself, and it's going to make you just have more and more conviction. But I think it can happen very, very quickly, bro. If you just make the decision, if you decide that you're going to make it happen, then that's all that you need, because you've made that decision. You get what I'm saying?
I get exactly what you're saying. Yeah. And on that note, I want to end it off here. I appreciate you coming on here. If you want to check out Liam's socials, what are your socials? Tell the people. Yeah, so if you want to check me out, it's Liam Bradshaw without an A on the second, on Shaw. So Liam Bradshaw without an A on the Shaw. And then I think it's Liam Bradshaw 1 on YouTube as well. So yeah, I've been posting a little bit of content over there. But yeah, bro, I appreciate you coming through. Yes, don't really do many podcasts, but nah, I definitely enjoyed it, bro. For sure. Appreciate it. All right. We'll catch you guys.